Welcome, seekers of kinetic wisdom and weird people who think this is going to be a demonstration. This is Trebor7, creator of ④TELEKINESIS.com and a student of AvatarEnergyMaster.com. And this will be tutorial part 4, how to tip and roll. Namaste. Okay, so before we get started with tutorial part 4, I just wanted to mention a few things. A lot of times what we look at seems to be the impossible. For example, this balanced aluminum can. And the reason being is we don't always fully understand everything, and we don't know what we have on the inside. We've been programmed to believe that we are our body or we are our mind, and that's simply not the case. These bodies are more like an avatar, a vehicle, a temporary ride, if you will. Okay, so there's a part of us inside that is eternal and powerful, and we're basically manifested in this dimension in the forms of energy and light. So knowing what you have on the inside has a lot to do with what you can do with what's on the outside. So do any of you out there know how I'm balancing this aluminum can on edge? A few of you. A lot of you do not. And that's the case with telekinesis. A lot of times we don't know what we can do on the outside because we don't know what's on the inside. But I'm going to show you a little trick here. This aluminum can, it is truly balanced. I mean, there's nothing holding it or anything. But the trick to this is what's on the inside. You couldn't do this with an empty can. If you put just the right amount of water in the can, you can balance it on edge. Now, if you don't know what's on the inside or you have the wrong amount of something, it won't work. And you'll find that when you do this. I want you to do this just to get used to the feel of the can, and the balancing really helps amplify the empathy with the can. But you'll see it takes a certain amount of water. You can't have too much or too little water. And you have to be still, and you have to experiment. And the same can be said for telekinesis. Exact same thing. We have to level our empathy, our energy, and our mindset. We have to keep it all has to be right, exactly right, or it simply doesn't work. Okay? So it's not all about what you want to do or what you need to do. It's about what has to be done on the inside. Okay, so let's get to rolling. Namaste. Welcome to tutorial part 4, how to tip and roll. I was a little torn between whether to do a back to basics type thing or preach to you about how cell phones and junk food and stress are messing with your mind, body, and spirit, or go on to some more advanced things. So I decided to do all three. Alright, so we're back to the basics here, where we're folding our target and bonding and balancing. And this will be a nice easy exercise that everyone can do, and it can be done in several different manners, but the main thing is to acquire your empathy first, get to know your target, and then set the threshold. And this time we're setting it, you want it fairly flat so it teeters pretty easy. You don't want it real heavy either direction. And then also pull the target out off the edge of the surface to where it's balanced that way too. So we want the least amount of friction as possible. And then just start doing what you do, man. If you use a lot of mental focus, put some brain waves on that thing. If you use a lot of energy, then start moving some energy around, or whatever's going to work for you. And when we do these lessons, we want them to stay productive, interesting, fun. We don't want a bunch of concentrating, frustration, and all that stuff. So if it ain't on, if it ain't working, don't force it, because that isn't how it works. So find out what works for you and practice. Like I said, you can use aerokinesis, or the less motion the better in my opinion, but like I said, keep it moving, keep it fun, keep it productive. Alright, hope you guys enjoy messing around with your postcard. We're going to move on to aluminum can, and there's a lot of ways to approach this, and I'm starting cold. And by cold I mean no meditation, no energy work, And in fact, I have a belly full of seafood right now. So I'm starting cold and fresh. So you're seeing it from the get-go. This is kind of the way I kind of approach every new target. Quite difficult to balance a can, but when you try, it gets you pretty familiar with the weight and the proportion and stuff. And you know, acquiring empathy is a big part of it for me, because our connection is feelings, and if we don't know how it feels to be that can, it's just going to be a one-way communication. That's not going to work. So I'm just kind of feeling out the can here a little bit. You can see that there's certain positions that roll better than others, and just kind of getting to know my target. And then I'm just going to, you know, follow my intuition. So I'm just going to set it down here and see if we can get maybe some magnetics happening. Or, like I said, I'm starting cold, so I don't have much to work with. I'm kind of building up a little bit of energy here to work with. And then see if we can get some magnetic influence happening. You can see a little bit, not much. Or I'm not warmed up yet, one or the other. But I've said this 100 times, but it's so much easier to influence motion than it is to initiate it. So I'm trying to use some magnetism here to just influence some natural motion. And, you know, working on a new target, you just have to experiment. It's a learn as you go type thing. That's the approach I usually use. This is the stuff I do behind the scenes before I record a demonstration. So you know, like I always say, this isn't the way to do it, but it's a way to do it. And I recommend that with pretty much all your new targets, is to work on influencing the motion. You know, speeding it, slowing it, directing it, whatever you can do just to kind of get the feel for a connection with your target and get used to seeing your target in the motion that you're going to try to achieve. It's kind of an icebreaker. And of course, we're working our way up to being able to initiate the move from a dead still. So that's the end game, but we have to start somewhere. Okay, now that we have an active relationship with our target, we're going to try to initiate a move. So we're just relaxing our body, expanding our awareness beyond our body, acquiring empathy, just getting everything balanced on the inside, empathy, mindset, energy. And then I just kind of follow my gut here. We could use a chi blast, or you know, we could stare it down and use extreme focus and empathy and do a no hands thing. But I went with projecting energy through my finger rather than using my hand to make sure I'm not using too much wind. And I'm just filling the can with my intentions. And of course we send it kind of in bursts, so I'm concentrating on the sending and receiving simultaneously. So I am me and I am the can. Alright, so we got a little motion using the directed energy. And then I'm going to use a chi blast. This is usually my last resort, guys. You want to make sure you're not using air. And one good way to do that is to keep your fingers spread and don't use too much velocity on your hand motion. And like I said, focus on the sending and the receiving of the energy bursts. And of course the game plan is always to decrease the velocity of our hand motions. So here's a little softer approach, same amount of energy but less hand motion. And as you can see, we get the equal response. So it's not a game of force, it's a game of balance. Okay, now this is going to be a combination of both. We're going to use a chi blast to initiate the move and magnetism to influence. Alright, a little combo. Okay, I wanted to mention briefly the use of a wand. You can use a wand or a crystal, but these are just tools or aids. I mean, they have no power of their own until you fill them with your intentions and you know how to use them energetically. But when we do this, basically what we're doing is just providing a place, a conduit, and a place for the energy to exit our body. And again, it's just intentions, energy, the balance of sending and receiving at the same time. Okay, body language. This is something I've been working on for a while, and it requires extreme empathy to the point of merging to where you and your target become one. And then it becomes effortless. I mean, at this stage, I had a metallic taste in my mouth. I mean, I was that old Mountain Dew can I found on the side of the road. But if you've gotten to the point to where you can feel your target, this could very well work for you. And it really, like I said, requires extreme empathy. So here I'm merging my energy with the can's energy, and we are becoming one. And then we roll. There's no force here at all. You can see that that's entirely effortless. So, like I said, if you've gotten to the stage where you can feel your target, step it up and go to the next level and start merging with it, and pretty soon you'll have that thing wrapped around your finger. Okay, and that's pretty much going to wrap up tutorial part 4. I hope this helps one or some of you in your kinetic endeavors. And in closing, I just want to remind you that this is all about balance, and not just the balance of our empathy, mindset, and energy, but also the balance in our life. If your life is full of stress and drama, maybe you need more rest and fuzzy pajamas, you know, or if you're eating all junk food and drinking poisonous colored sugar water from a can, maybe you need to balance that out with some water and some raw, healthy food. So keep your chin up, guys, and know this is more than just moving some frivolous material using our mind. With each kinetic move, we are moving forward in our consciousness awareness. As above, so below. You know, the micro affects the macro. So we're rewriting the history books here, guys. So don't let the haters and skeptics get you down. And remember, you've got everything you need. You just need to balance it out and be confident. And when I say confident, I mean trust, like you trust a light switch. Because it's there, and it just takes a little bit of experimenting. Alright, I hope this helps. I appreciate you guys watching. This is Trebor 7. Good day, God bless, and namaste.